Hey, I'm Jack, and this video is the simplest way to end an affair. So let's get right into today's topic. I want to start by saying, if this is your situation, I know this territory can be really difficult. I have supported lots of clients in this territory over the years, and whilst it's easy for people to be judgmental if they haven't been in this territory, often it's more complex and nuanced, and typically people don't go looking for this stuff. It finds them, and typically, this is if you took just one thing from this video, this can be a call to your deeper authenticity. So hang in there. I've got some stuff that will help you, and there's normally a way to navigate this into better territory. So one of the opportunities that ending an affair offers you is to get more comfortable with speaking your truth and noticing when you speak your truth what happens in another person. Said differently, how interested is the other person in your truth? If they can't respond to your truth, then that is an important piece of information. Now, sometimes people can't respond to your truth because the upside of your truth is highly inconvenient, right? Like they aren't able to actually, for instance, your truth might be, I would want to be with you. Like this is you to the person that you've been seeing. I would want to be with you, but I don't have an interest in keeping this arrangement going. So I need you to leave your current relationship and come be with me. That might be your truth. And they don't really have a way of saying, yeah, of course that's your truth. I hear you and I want the same thing, because they're not actually ready and willing to leave. Or they want to kind of maintain the status quo, or as often they've got, large numbers of conflicting parts. But the opportunity for you, we talk about this polarity between truth and harmony, right? Sometimes people are more on the harmony side. They tend to adjust, accommodate. At its worst, they people please. But being harmonious is an important skill set. But also speaking the truth about what your truth is an important skill set. And it might be that you're not practice leaning into this, and this is a difficult territory to do it. And part of you might be saying, well, if I kind of say it wrong, will I jeopardize the opportunity? But the reality is, if someone is having an affair with you and they're not saying, okay, I need to sort out my current situation and resolve and leave so I can come be with you, then the reality is that there's not actually a relationship path forward with this person, right? Something has to change about this current situation. And what tends to keep the affair in place, in part, right? Sometimes it can just be, it's amazing chemistry. Sometimes there's a parts of you that have been dormant that this connection is bringing alive, and that's the thing that you take forward. Esther Perel talks well to this, that if this has brought out your creativity or your wild side, or perhaps your adventurousness or your deeper intimacy, that those are things that you want in your life, and you can cherish that, and you can make note of it, and you can take a stand for it in future connecting with other people. Like, wow, these are important parts of me. Maybe they've been dormant. Maybe I gave up on them. Maybe I forgot them 25 years ago, and now I can see they can come back with someone. That's what you take forward, but you sort of separate that from, it's not just I need this person in my life. It's that I need these qualities of my way of being in my life. I don't want to be in the world in a kind of, boring, run-of-the-mill, go through the paces way. I actually want a spark. I want intensity. I want a flame. I want passion. I want to be alive to my own aliveness. I want to feel life coursing through me. And maybe this was a way that I could get that catalyzed, but it doesn't start and end with this person, right? This will be available in other places. Part of what often keeps an affair in place is some kind of distorted thinking. And the distorted thinking often looks like, one day he'll leave, right? Let's imagine you're a woman who's dating a guy. One day he'll leave. One day he'll choose me. So this is what we call the fallacy of one day, right? One day, but one day never arrives. The best way to see if one day may ever arrive is actually to downshift the connection and then make it clear to the person, I would want to be with you, but I need you to resolve your current situation. And then let's see if there's something here. Just let's be blunt, typically this doesn't happen. Typically people have enough investment in their current thing that they don't leave. And maybe that's also honorable, right? They're in a committed relationship with someone, so let's not discount that. But typically, if they are going to leave, they know that fairly early on, right? Like, oh wow, this is maybe I feel shame, maybe this is inconvenient, maybe it's lots of things, but there's actually a more real connection with this person than with my partner. So I actually need to figure out how to downshift or leave or break up, separate, because yeah, actually this is it. But they don't need you to hang around in that process, or there's a way that they can communicate it to you that is not just words, that you actually see that they're taking actions in that direction. Normally what keeps the affair in place is that you think one day they're going to do this, because perhaps they've been selling you that, like, oh gosh, I will, I just need, normally it's like, I just need the right time. Often there is a, how should we say it, there's a timeline that just keeps getting pushed back, right? I'll do it when, when my partner's leg is healed. I'll do it when my daughter is into secondary school. I'll do it when she's graduated college. I'll do it when she's got her first job, and sometimes, honestly, these situations can perpetuate like this, not just for years. I've had it with people, clients, decades, literally, where there's like, it's just one kind of false sort of horizon that never, it's like that mirage of the oasis in the desert, right? It's sort of, you see it, but it never actually arrives. So a lot of this is you being less seducible to ideas that lack sobriety. And this is a developmental move for you, that you have to be a little bit more with the card hold facts of reality. And the card hold facts of reality can be your friend. You might not like them. They might be incredibly painful for you to realize, gosh, he's been telling me all this time that XYZ is going to happen, but let's be honest, XYZ is not happening. There's no demonstrable progress, or the progress towards it is so small that we'll never get there, right? It's just like, yeah, if I want to learn, currently I'm trying to learn Mandarin, it's hard. But if I learn one Mandarin character every year, I'm not going to know Mandarin in any way, even as a beginner, before I die, right? That would just be sober, right? Sort of hard, cold facts of reality. So hard, cold facts of reality don't mean that you don't have intense feelings for this person. You might love them. You might have hoped for all sorts of things with them. But you have to see, actually, I'm living in false hope. And that is not a great place to live. And you might not want to let go of that false hope because you're like, well, that's all I get to hang on to. It's a much better place to live from sobriety, from clear-sightedness, from actually seeing what's going on. And sometimes you have to deal with a lot of difficult feelings in the meantime, right? The feelings of grief, disappointment, perhaps you feel betrayed. Perhaps you feel like it's unfair, right? There was this thing that could have been good. But what is better than an affair is someone that wants to be with you, right? Let's just be honest. There's probably many people out there in the world that might want to be with you. You might not know who they are right now, but they would at least have a shot of wanting to see, could we develop something? They're invested in that. This person at the moment isn't invested in seeing if something can go somewhere with you because they're structurally unable to do that. And sometimes the role that you're playing in their life is that you are a distraction, is that you are bringing parts of themselves online. And that's really the lesson they need to take, that they need that aliveness in their life, but you are a catalyst and a context for it, but it's not necessarily about them being with you. You might be what is, sort of keeping them in a relationship that's not working for them, but they don't have the ability or courage or something, finances, to leave. And so you're sort of playing a role that allows them to kind of be in denial and keep going in that path. But that's not really the role you want to play in someone's life. You want to play a full-blooded kind of partner role, if that's what you're looking for, right? By the way, I always say this. I'm not saying go and be in an affair with someone. I think it's better to find someone that, if the essence of an affair is a lovership, go find someone that wants a lovership if that's what you really want, right? Meaning, I don't make any, claim that you should want to be in a partnered style of relationship. You can be in whatever style of relationship you want. But typically what I see with these affairs is it's really a lovership, right? It's part-time, it doesn't really have commitment. It might have some element of consistency, often it doesn't even have that. But the person's hanging in there because they think they're going to get the partner upgrade. But the partner upgrade rarely, if ever, happens. I rarely see it. And if it does, it's likely to happen because of the way the other person's holding it, in the way that I was talking earlier, right? Like, oh gosh, I've got to go sort this thing out. Like, I can't stay in my current relationship. That's tragic. It's hard. I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to do it. You hang tight. I'm going to figure this out. If that is what's being said, but nothing is demonstrably happening, you have to stop being seducible to people's words. You, in a sense, and I don't mean this judgmentally, I mean it to appeal to the core essence of your maturity. You have to be a bigger girl, right? You have to be a more mature woman, to say that better, more accurately, sorry. You have to be a more mature woman who is willing to see that a guy might tell you all sorts of things that aren't actually going to happen, and that you can't outsource your guidance to him, right? You're not a young girl and this is not your father, right? There is a role, I think, for some masculine guidance in certain stages of life, but you're a full adult, and part of full adult psychological maturity, or at least a possibility of that, is you have to be with those kind of hard, cold facts of how is it. That doesn't mean you're not feeling heartbreak. But for you to say, well, he keeps saying this, or I can't break up with him because he never agrees to break up, or he's always booked the next trip, or he's always saying X, Y, Z. I'm like, wait, hang on a minute. Where are you in this? Where is your center of gravity? Where is your feet on the ground? Where is your butt in the seat? Where is your spine? You know, these are all metaphors for you standing in your power and clarity. Hang on a minute. I don't need a guy to agree with me that I'm going to leave. I might prefer it if we had a shared reality. That might be easier. But his reality's kind of distorted right now. He's talking about all sorts of things that never happen. He's actually in Disney, basically, right? He's in Fantasyland because he's been saying he's going to be doing this for 3 years. And every time the mirage in the desert never happens and the goalposts get moved. But he doesn't acknowledge that, or he's always got an excuse and a rationalization. And by the way, I'm not being actually down on a guy in this situation. How could he but have a rationalization, right? There isn't really a way that has this stay in place other than some kind of distortion. Right? So normally we need those kind of, psychological rationalizations to think, oh, well, I am gonna leave because then that allows me to feel like I'm being better to you as my affair partner person because I'm sort of like, yeah, I'm trying to be with you, but I just can't, right? So that's sort of a story I can stay in, but it doesn't really serve him to be in that. It certainly doesn't serve his current relationship or whatever the impact is there. And it doesn't serve you because you have to outsource your guidance. You have to pretend that you're not as sober and as objective as you can be. You have to disconnect from your own power. You have to believe false hopes. That's not your psychological maturity right there. That's not your path of development. Your path of development is leaning into this, owning your truth, sharing it with the other person, and then getting with the program that if you didn't have distorted thinking sort of underpinning this, it would still be hard to leave, but it would be a lot easier. The thing that makes it hard is you think, well, maybe he'll come around, maybe one day, right? Maybe he is making an effort, maybe it is just a hard time, maybe he has just lost his business, maybe I should be caring, compassionate. Sometimes compassionate is about being objective because you can see something clearly, right? If I want to be compassionate with my cat, but I'm really seeing a dog, that's not really compassion, right? Maybe it's not the best example, but I've got to be with something clearly, see it for what it is, right? If your friend is on a path of destruction, sometimes you have to be compassionately objective and say, look, there's a problem here. We need to get you some help, right? I'm not just going to buy into your delusions that you're fixing this because nothing about it looks like you're fixing it, right? You're just continuing to get high or, drunk or whatever the thing is. We need to get you some help. We need an intervention. You need to be an intervention in your own affair. Right? Meaning, if you actually want a partner, you got to realize this isn't it. If you want to separate, let it go, and that person comes back to you in a few years once they've resolved their affairs, so to speak. It's maybe not the best word. I'm kind of mixing metaphors. They've resolved their relationship. They've broken up. They've clearly separated. They're on a different path. So be it. But by the way, you got to live your life in the meantime. And what I see is that typically, if you actually once you step out of the reality distortion field that often keeps these things in place, it's less intoxicating to you. Like you can start to kind of break. There's normally something that keeps you in. Sometimes it's that there's strong chemistry. There's like an emotional or bond. Sometimes it's a trauma bond. Sometimes it's that you sort of have to be disconnected from your higher guidance in order to stay in. But once you kind of pop out into your clear-sightedness, you're like, sure, I'm attracted to him, but wow, what was kind of keeping me locked in there? So don't lose faith that there's a day that you might look at this and it might still have a little tug, but maybe it doesn't even. That maybe you can actually just see it like, wow, I'm amazed that I got kind of taken in for that long. I got kind of wrapped around with this person, and actually that isn't what I want. What I want is someone that wants to be with me. Or, and it doesn't mean it has to go somewhere, but like, I want someone on the playing field that, and if we want to do something on Saturday night, they can do something on Saturday night. That's what I'm looking for. Everything else is kind of, is me downshifting, is me underrepresenting my authentic desire, and me underrepresenting my power, that I'm kind of leaking power to this person. I'm kind of saying, you have the decision over whether this affair continues. That ain't gonna serve you, right? Why are you giving them that power when clearly they're not resolving their situation and what they're saying about the situation lacks ground? You have to find your own ground. You would do better to do what's authentically in your desire. And by the way, often this serves the guy as well, right? Because it doesn't serve a guy to be long-term in an affair, unless fine. If this is some kind of consensual non-monogamy and that's the game that everyone's playing, you do your thing. But that's not really the main essence of how I've set up this video, and probably what had you find this video. You're probably in a situation where you're wanting a partner upgrade, but it isn't available to you. And the only way to find out if it is available is actually to downshift the connection. I think there's a false idea that actually if you downshift, then it sort of determines the outcome. But I think if you downshift and he doesn't step up, it actually reveals that he wasn't likely to ever do that. That you've given him maximum opportunity. You might have already given him weeks, months, or years of your life, you know, and that's all energy that's not going somewhere else into your own exploration of something that could be more meaningful for you. And you don't lose out from these things. Meaning, if there's development in here for you, like maybe it catalyzes, as I was saying, your aliveness, passion, etc., you get to keep that. You get to notice, is that available in a new connection? That's what I want. That's you get to keep that. You also get to keep, wow, I cultivated some sobriety and some objectivity. You also get to cultivate some self-love, because it takes some self-love to leave a situation that's continually hooking you in. You also get to practice speaking your truth, and speaking your truth to a guy that maybe has a different, I call it reality distortion field, but like has a different view of what's going on. All of those things you take with you, right? So you've got a lot that you could take with you. I'm not going to say that this is going to be an easy path, and it might get worse before it gets better, right? You might have some hard days. You might have some hard times, particularly if there's a time of day or week or a thing that you guys always did together, or you might have to put some substitute behaviors in. You might need to get some support, but you'll be able to walk this path. Because the more you sober up, the more you'll want to sober up, right? The more you'll actually, no one really in their heart of hearts, if they knew how not to be, wants to be the queen of denial, right? No one really wants that for themselves, but that's sometimes the best adaptive strategy that people have known how to do, is to kind of soften the blow of reality by sort of creating a distortion about what's actually happening. But if you learn how to be with things more directly, you're going to want more of that. You're going to want more of that clarity and power. And by the way, the next time you connect with someone, it will be easier for you to say, hey, what do you want? What is this? I'm not interested. Oh, really? You're dating me, but you have a partner? Oh gosh, yeah, that's a hard no for me. I know how this goes, and I'm actually don't really want to play that game. I'm not interested. And it won't be hard for you to be connected in your backbone to your truth, right? So this is a gym, this is a workout. This workout's a hard workout for you, but you're going to get to better places, and you get that learning that stays with you. So if you think of your life as a path, if you think of as your relating and dating journey as a path, you've got a lot that's going to come with you. It's going to be rough for a bit, but hang in there, you'll get through it. And a key part of this is, once you've made this determination, realize you can do this unilaterally. You don't need the other person to agree. You're not saying, hey, I'm thinking this isn't working, should we break up? What do you think? You're saying, hey, I'm seeing what's going on here. If you were really available, I would want something, but you clearly are not available, and I don't need to hear your stories about that. You go do you go do your life. I'm going to do my own. This is regrettable, it's unfortunate. I wish it were easier. This is hard for me, but I'm actually taking a stand for my truth. I know that there's someone that might want to show up for me in a relationship. I want to be available for that. This is taking me away from it. So I'm going to really be in my power here, my authentic power, right? I've run programs about this. We call it reclaiming your power. Hit me up in the comments if you want to be that. We could run another one of these programs. If you're in this situation and there's a few of you that want to get together and get some support, I can help you with this. But you also have this power within you. It comes from sobriety. It comes from seeing it clearly, not wishing it were different, not saying it's unfair. Life wasn't designed to be fair. Life was designed to be true and grow you, and life is often confusing and difficult, and this has been that for you. But I'm saying the more you kind of separate from the delusion, the easier it gets from you, and that learning will stay with you. So let me know how you're doing. If you want to share something you experienced, hit me up in the comments. I read them all. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, bang that subscribe. Turn on all notifications so you get new videos. I'm releasing a lot of content at the moment. And as I say, if you want to be part of a program, if that's interesting, let me know in the comments so we can put that together. And hang in there. This will get easier. Thanks for hearing me. I hope I've helped. And as always, I'm Jack. Thanks for being here.